Zephyr, originating from the Greek god Zephyrus, the god of the west wind that means gentle breeze. Breathing. Breathing is an important part of our life. The air is for our survival, as humans, the plants, the animals. All are connected through this. However, the ever-changing world is not letting cleanliness nor purity reign. As the world develops and innovates, we utilize more of these but give us negative impacts in return. May it be from industrial structures emitting gases, vehicle pollution, indoor air pollution, and chemicals exposed to the atmosphere. These are affecting the oxygen that we need in order for us to live. This info video will be explaining the biogeochemical cycle regarding oxygen, anthropogenic effects, invasive species, and epigenetics. The air is never the same. Wake up. Be aware of the courses within the Zephyr.
The oxygen cycle is the exchange of oxygen between living and non-living components. It helps regulate the amount of oxygen in the Earth's three major spheres, which is the lithosphere, atmosphere, and the biosphere. This cycle's processes are classified as either a producer or consumer of oxygen. The production of oxygen is through photosynthesis, which is where plants generate their food with the use of sunshine, water, and carbon dioxide. As a byproduct of this process, oxygen gas is released. Sunlight generates oxygen as well. Oxygen gases are created when sunlight interacts with atmospheric water vapor. Next is the consumption of oxygen. These are respiration, which is the process in which energy is produced by the consumption of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide. Decomposition, which is the decay of organisms, which releases carbon dioxide together with oxygen. Rusting or oxidation, which involves oxygen to create rust on many metals. And lastly, combustion or burning of objects like coal, wood, or fossil fuels, which also requires oxygen.
Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, people have been using fossil fuels to produce electricity. This process disturbs both the carbon cycle and the oxygen cycle by releasing large amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and as well as removing large amounts of molecular oxygen from the environment. Specifically, the burning of fossil fuel refers to the burning of oil, natural gas, and coal, which in general produces energy. This energy is then used for power transportation, industrial processes, and production of electricity that we commonly use in our homes. With technological advancements, consumption of such increased intensely. In fact, the 2020 Statistical Review of World Energy expressed that 84% of the world's primary energy consumption is that of fossil fuels. Bottom line, the immense carbon rising in the atmosphere when the burning process occurs disrupts the oxygen cycle by reversing its pattern.
Furthermore, it is obvious that other factors other than the burning of fossil fuels, which actually results in an oxygen loss, are also contributing to the disruption of the oxygen cycle. An example of one of these factors would be deforestation. Deforestation, or also known as forest clearance, is the removal of a forest or a tree stand from land before it is put to another use other than that of a forest. The conversion of forest land to farmland, ranches, or urban usage is considered as a kind of deforestation. The air can be affected by deforestation. The atmosphere becomes more acidic due to a lack of oxygen and rising carbon dioxide levels, which poses a number of issues for living things, and we can be certain that forests play a key role in maintaining the balance of oxygen in the atmosphere by influencing the amount of evaporation and precipitation. Ongoing deforestation has a negative impact on global air quality.
We have been in this world for millions of years. We have evolved, scattered, and spread our influences throughout the world. Striving to improve and develop the advancement of humanity, we have forgotten that we are responsible for taking care of the environment. Specifically, humans have become overpopulated, into which we humans impact the physical environment in a variety of ways. These changes triggered effects that could endanger all lives. Precisely the cause of air pollution. Let us face it, humans are the leading cause of climate change. We are responsible for burning fossil fuels, producing livestock, deforestation, and increasing the amount of heat-trapping gases in the atmosphere. Yes, Humans are considered the rulers of the world. However, we often overlook the consequences of our actions to the world we live in. That is why it poses the questions, are we the invasive species?
Humans have been the main drivers of climate change, which in turn caused species to move into new places. These invasive species cause detrimental effects on the ecology and economy of the environment it is introduced in. These species can affect an ecosystem by manipulating its role in regulating the emission of greenhouse gases. For instance, invasive pests can cause the loss of trees, which directly reduces the ability of our forests to store carbon dioxide, which plays an important part in photosynthesis. Invasive species are also known to increase nitrous oxide emission, another climate warming gas. Climate change favors the spread of invasive species, where, if you think about it, human actions are still responsible for the harm caused by invasive species.
To properly lay the definition of the epigenetics, it is the study of the chemical modification of specific genes of genes-associated proteins of an organism. Epigenetic modification can define how the information in genes is expressed and used by cells. On the recent issue that surrounds on the matter of epigenetics, the matter revolves on the subject of air pollution, where it is projected to cause nearly 7 million premature deaths worldwide each year, and also more than 3% of disorder life lives prior. New research indicates that the consumption of air pollution alters the epigenetic imprint, DNA methylation, and such alterations may impact inflammatory response, illness progression, and aggravation risk. Summarizing, a probable health decline in the future evolution of human. Understanding the matter regarding how serious the issue of air pollution is in the recent years.
Epigenetics studies how our environment and behavior affect how your genes work. Our genes are vital in causing a trend change in the ecosystem, which affects our behaviors and environment, such as how we act and respond to various challenges. Epigenetic alterations are reversible, and while they do not change the DNA sequence, they can affect how our bodies read it. The human activity that contributes to climate change and global warming is, in fact, an epigenetic modifier. The ecosystem is a really delicate thing, and if we don't take care of it, we will face an ecological crisis that will put mankind's survival to a test. Let us begin by working together to defend our world.